Hey, everybody, welcome back to We Are the Batman. I'm Mike.
And this is Matthew. And
Don't
it's
let
my
you
turn. My turn to have the voice, the
Yeah,
weird voice, even though now I sound more like you. So maybe
it's
I
true.
should just
I
get
know.
a bunch of pollen and allergies and
Thank
cough.
God.
And
Thank God we don't like try to transcribe these. Nobody would know who was talking and who wasn't. Yeah, we're trying to front load the jokes because it's not a happy time, not a happy reason we're hopping on here because obviously we woke up to the news that Val Kilmer, uh, beloved actor of screen and stage and all things, but of course Batman, has passed away at the age of 65.
yes.
Val Kilmer had a very very full packed career until life got in the way and took some of that away. Um, there have been, in way things like Top Gun Maverick, there have been a lot of opportunities for him to get to have his laurels, as it were, and have his swan songs, as it were, in the last few years that he's had. But obviously, like we'd be remiss, this was a Batman. Like this wasn't just like this was a Batman. This was a big one, and we'd be remiss if we didn't take some time to just talk about Val Kilmer, the man, and what he meant both as a part of the Batman history, but just as fans.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of, he was, like you said, due to his illness, he has not really been active in the last 5 to 10 years, as active as he had been previously. But like you, it's one of those things. I remember he's one of the first actors before IMDb as a kid where I would go like, hey, wait, wasn't he in this? And it
I
wasn't
was the same way. Yeah.
because the landscape of some of his earlier films, like he does the first two, the comedies, Real Genius and Top Gun's his first, not Top Gun, Top Secret is his first,
Yeah.
Real Genius is second. And it's like he could have easily fallen into that and probably had a pretty solid career.
Mhm.
And then you get Top Gun, which he hated. He has gone on the record saying it was a contractual thing. He hated making that movie. But then he turns and he's Mad Mardigan. And you're just like,
good.
There's nothing here that's the same. And so it's weird to think
from the Batman to the Saint.
Yeah.
Or the Saint.
And he was Doc Holliday right before that.
Ghost in the Darkness, a movie not a lot of people like. I actually like that movie a lot. But
it's good in that. The Doors, stellar performance in The Doors. He's what was the other one I was about to bring up?
I know.
He's it's a ton. It's a ton.
Every time somebody mentions a new one, I'm like, oh, and that, of course.
Yeah. And I think it's Heat.
You forgot Heat.
Spectacular in Heat.
Yeah. Snowman.
And I think the thing that I like that he did in that was it had been really easy to try and be the top dog in that film as far as the what's it called, you've got Al Pacino, you got Robert De Niro. Do I overact and try and keep pace, or do I know my place and stay the role that I'm in?
Yeah, right.
And I think that he, for the most part, seemed to have accepted his role, and he was fantastic in it. It's not like he was bad in the movie.
Well, and one that I really like is, and it's an animated one, but it's The Prince of Egypt.
Oh yes,
that movie is like one of the most underrated animated films, and Val Kilmer as Moses is part of the reason why that movie is so good.
Yeah,
I mean, the movie is packed full of talent. But
yeah. Oh, True Romance, he's Elvis.
Oh, that's right. What was the one where he goes to Mars? Was that Red Planet or was that Mission to Mars? Those came out at the same.
I think it's Red Planet.
Is it just Red Planet? Okay.
The one that I always talk about it's a really good movie. I don't think anybody ever saw it. Was Thunderheart, where he plays the half Native American, half white, and he's an FBI agent, and they send him to the reservation to investigate a murder, and it's all about the different corruption on the reservation, and it's It's really, really good. If you need to take the time to watch that movie, he's fantastic in it. It's, it's early 90s, so you get a lot of those Native American actors of that time that are just peppered throughout the film. That was another one that he was really good in.
Well, and he was no stranger to like he knew what he came from, so like he was no stranger to having a sense of humor and looking inwardly about. I mean, he shows up in the Jay and Silent Bob remake in 29 reboot in 2019 as himself as reboot Blunt Man, and it was very much a like, let's poke at the fact this guy used to be Batman.
That's a meta.
Yeah, and we'd be remiss if we didn't. And we did an entire episode when we were doing our breakdown series, diving into Batman Forever. It's an older episode. You guys, please, before we were doing video, so you can go back and check that out by all means. But regardless of and we've talked at length about our thoughts on Batman Forever. But like one thing I think you and I always agreed on is like Val Kilmer understood the assignment as Batman for sure.
Had the movie been the movie Val Kilmer was making, it'd have been spectacular. The movie he thinks he's making, he's acting in, is awesome.
Yeah,
and he's still one of my favorites. I still don't know that he's not my favorite still. Between I don't know how much he influenced how much the physicality of the character changes, but I mean, saying the nipples aside, I still think his suit is one of the coolest ones.
It's a great. I left it on. I mean, I like this suit that I have here in our graphic a million times more than the one at the end of the movie, because what I will say about him is when I see him, I don't know how to describe this in any way. This is purely I'm 36, undiagnosed autism and ADHD. But there is something about when I see Val Kilmer on screen in Batman Forever, whether it's in the bat suit or in the trademark turtleneck and pants that every Bruce Wayne has to master. I felt the same way with Ben Affleck. Val Kilmer just looks like a Bruce Wayne Batman. Like when I see him on screen, I just buy that he's Bruce Wayne. I just buy that he's Batman.
He looks the way as far as build and things of that nature. I think he looks the way that like Neil Adams drew Batman, or all those guys in the late 70s and early 80s, where he was this lean, muscular, agile guy. And even when
he was a creature of the night kind of Batman.
Yeah. But it was also like, the thing I always liked about, and some of that may be the writing, but it's like, even as Bruce Wayne, like he did things. He didn't just walk around doing nothing, letting people get killed. So I really do like what he did in Batman. Best Batman voice ever as far as live action's concerned.
He was good. Val Kilmer is, and because I've been revisiting some of the new 52 animated stuff. Val Kilmer really strikes me as like born in a different time. He could have pulled off the new 52 Batman really well. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I think born a few decades later, or the new 52 happens sooner, there is a world out in the multiverse where Val Kilmer is playing the live action new 52 Batman, and it's crushing at the box office. You know what I mean? Like something about especially watching the movie, something about and I'm blanking on the voice actor now who does Batman in those movies.
Jason O'Mara.
Thank you. There is something about Jason O'Mara's, specifically his Bruce Wayne look and his performance, his voice performance, that really gives me Val, and as I'm thinking about it now, gives me Val Kilmer and Batman Forever vibes in a way that it's just, it would have been. I wish there was a way to visit that realm of the DCL's worlds.
Oh yeah, to have him do Flash, you do tight, efficient work.
I know. I want to hear those lines done by other Batman actors.
I think I need to audition for Batman right now.
We might need to do that. Maybe while you're in this point, we should do a Batman audience.
You got about 2 days, and then it's going to disappear.
What's not going to disappear is just, I mean, Val Kilmer. Like, I don't know what it was about him, and I haven't seen the documentary. The Val documentary.
It's very good.
I've heard it's one of those I haven't watched because I'm not. It's like the Chris Reeves documentary. It's like I'm to watch this in parts. Like
It's gonna hurt now. I watched it 2 years, a year and a half ago.
Really gonna hurt. Yeah, now it's really gonna hurt.
The most fascinating thing about that documentary is that he's one of those guys that apparently always had a video camera.
Yeah.
So there's like video camera footage behind the scenes of nearly every film he's in.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my, like, I don't know if I don't know if he had the foresight at the time of like, hey, maybe I'll do a documentary as later. But it's just like, you know, the funniest, and I probably shouldn't go into this, but I'm going to, because I think it's well known that both he and Marlon Brando actively rebelled against the director of The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
And there's like a video of the director like, Val, you need to put the camera down now. Val, and he's like, what? I'm not doing anything. And he's like, Val, we got to do this. He's like, no, it's okay. You're just like, oh man, they hated you.
Yeah. Val Kilmer was like the one of the OG vloggers. Like the idea of somebody like just always like document like we do it nowadays. Like nowadays it's second nature with our phones and all that, but like Val Kilmer really started that. And there is something to be said about that, because you know there was a point where when like personal media, and this is getting a little off topic, but when personal media became a thing, taking photos and home videos all the time, and then we photo albums and home movies, and we kind of got away from that as a society, and now it's becoming kind of a more societal thing again, where it's like there's going to be a period, there's going to be a chunk of like celebrities and such who like they're behind the music documentaries aren't going to have a lot, because
or like all you got to do, behind the scenes of this person, well, just go to their Facebook page.
Exactly, because it's like we've seen all this now.
We know, their tweets, we know this,
but because Val Kilmer was kind of the OG of that, and this documentary really helped. He was just a guy who just loved what he did, and just loved art and creating, and felt that it seemed that he just was a guy who felt there was always something to document, and there was something to be remembered, and maybe it's a hoarding thing, I don't know, but
well, even on top of that, like, I'm not going to be disingenuous and say I've seen every single movie he's done. I haven't. But every movie I've seen that he's in it. Like, he is doing the thing. Like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, given where he was in his career, he probably shouldn't have gone 1,000% like he did in that movie, but he is amazing in that movie. Well, I mean, the definition of dumb or stupid. You know what you find? A picture of me. No, the definition is stupid, which you are.
that movie is. I haven't watched that in years. Oh my god! But like, you know, we mentioned Tombstone. Him as Doc Holliday is. I mean, that movie. People still talk about that movie. I know people younger than me who still talk about that movie.
Because that movie's awesome.
Because that movie's incredible.
Horribly inaccurate historically, but
well, and I will say there's something to be said about Val Kilmer starring in lots of movies based on historical events and things that, you know, it was the age of Hollywood taking liberties to the extreme. I mean, The Ghost in the Darkness is based on a true story, but the liberties that story takes are wild.
That is the job of a filmmaker to make a great film and be as accurate as that allows you to be. Like, don't lie and make up things, but hey, did Bruce Lee really dream about a weird ghost that tried to haunt him and his family? No, but it makes a great through line for dragging the Bruce Lee story.
Certainly does. And The Ghost in the Darkness is another one of those where it's like, it's such a different character for Val Kilmer. He's this like, instead of playing like an action star or a drug addict or a musician, he's playing like a well-read, well put together, I dare say aristocratic, soldier, engineer, family man. Like, it's truly just it's such a different kind of role, and it's one of the first times I remember seeing a movie that painted Africa, because the movie itself even points out, like, people think about Africa, they think about deserts and this and that. And it's like people don't realize just how gorgeous Africa is. And that was the first movie that, as a young man, even made me go, oh shit, he's right. When I think about Africa, I think about, the shit you see in action movies, not the beautiful landscapes of you see like in The Lion King. And so like The Ghost in the Darkness really helped. It was also just kind of a fun movie, but I love it. I love it. So yeah,
Yeah.
Val Kilmer.
And then he randomly shows up in MacGruber.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, man, he got to the point. He was getting to a point, and I think even at that point, like you get to a point in your career where your health is failing. You know, his health is failing him. We obviously. I'm not, too proud to admit I was part of the when those first shots of him coming out in bad health, and he looked out of shape, and everybody jumped on the meme culture, and we ate a lot of. We're eating some crow. I like to think in recent years that we as for people as a movie have done our best to make up for that. And I hope that in the time that he had left before he passed, he got much like we think about people like Christopher Reeve or Kevin Conroy. We hope that by the time he was gone, he understood that his time and legacy and his career were appreciated, and that we didn't know any better, and we hope that by the time when he did go, that it was with love. And
Oh yeah, like so on the documentary. Now, granted, the documentary is a couple of years old now. Like I think
right,
he and I think he and his kids like live in a duplex almost.
yeah,
Like he lives on one side of the house and they live on the other side. And I think even his wife his ex-wife is there all the time. So whatever happened between them, it doesn't seem like there's some.
Well, because even the film, I'm looking up on Wikipedia, it's narrated in his own words because
his son.
Because he couldn't speak. He wrote everything, and then his son did the narration as well.
Oh yeah, and I was a good third of the way through before I realized it wasn't him. Like his son sounds a lot like him.
Really? Oh, that's wild.
So, no, I know it's going to be hard now to watch it and not break.
I know. Now I have to watch it, and I'm going to absolutely hate myself the entire time.
Yeah, but he was. I think for me, this is an amazing actor, spanned decades, influential as far as the things I saw. Like I said, watching him do all the comedy, switching to action, switching to anything, and being top tier at the thing he switched to. Who knows where he would have gone? He may have had a Kilmer Assance, had in 2015 his
life played out differently.
Yeah, but I really feel like he was amazing. It's fun to watch. Like his movies, so a lot of his movies are like my kids and I watch Willow all the time. We'll probably watch it, over the weekend or something because that movie's fantastic and he's great in it. And him not being in that show, among other things, was a crime.
Yeah. I appreciated that they found a way to make his character not just a part of the story, but an important part of the story. Like the show was what it was, but I appreciated that they still made very much his Mad Mardigan's legacy an important part of the show, so that even though Val Kilmer couldn't be on the show, he still got to be a part of it in a way. You know what I mean?
See, I still say that the kid they cast to be his son in the show.
Oh yeah.
They should have just cast him as a young Mad Mardigan, and we should have just gotten the young Mad Mardigan adventures. Like I don't know why that. I mean, I shouldn't harp on it right now. Yeah. I don't know why that show was the show we got because it was terrible.
Yeah, I liked it, but I didn't. But to your point, like I love the idea of exploring more of Mad Mardigan's character because he does have so much lore. And again, to that point, like the fact that they still took the time they could have easily just written off Mad Mardigan's character saying he had just died and moved on and that was that. They did their best, I should say, to keep his Mad Mardigan's legacy, his skills, his love for the princess, and it was similar to like kind of what they did with his character in Top Gun Maverick, which is like, he's not really there. I mean, he is there, but like you find a way to keep his influence and just keep him in the ether of the world you're in. And so Willow did a really good job of that. And because Val Kilmer, aside from just Mad Mardigan being an important part of the story in itself, part of like Val Kilmer crushing it
Yeah.
as Mad Mardigan. Like that movie, I don't think that movie does as well. Like this movie does well because all the movie itself is good, but Val Kilmer is.
Hey, up until Lord of the Rings came out, it was still the most successful fantasy film that's ever been. Like it was box office wise, it did really well. And I learned how to do that stupid sword thing that he does because of that movie. I can still do it to this day. I don't have a sword to try it on, but
it was a sign to everybody that like that was that was Ron Howard planting a flag. That's George Lucas saying I'm more than just Star Wars for a little bit.
That was just Star Wars in medieval times, but whatever.
Well, and then but like Warwick Davis, of course, notwithstanding, but also like Warwick Davis's chemistry with Val Kilmer, like the two of them playing off of each other. You believe their rivalry turned friendship by the end of the movie, and and it's because of Val Kilmer and Warwick Davis being able to play off each other so well.
Yeah.
So there's no real like easy way to end one of these. There's really not. It sucks. Val Kilmer is somebody who's a major part of my childhood. I said on social media, he was the first Batman I saw on screen. He was the first movie star I remember like I saw him in Batman, and then like I saw a preview for him in something. I think it was The Saint, and I was like, I want to go see that because it's Batman. Yeah. And so like he was the first movie star I remember really clinging onto, and then like as a young man wanting to go watch other things he had been in. That's how I discovered other movies he had done. So this one sucks. It's one I didn't think about because he'd been kind of out of public eye for so long, but waking up to this news didn't put any less of a damper on my day.
No, he beat cancer, and then just through all that process, it seems to have weakened him, and because it was pneumonia that he ended up passing from. So it's this is where cancer and things like that suck. Is that even if you beat it, you're in such a state, it's difficult to bounce back. And he mentioned it before. Yeah, he had it bad. You mentioned it before that I had some things that were going on. One of my a kind of an associate / friend passed away back in February. He had COVID 5 times, and it was like each time he just didn't bounce back the same. And he died of other things, but it's just like that didn't help him. I mean, he was a bit older. He was in his 80s, late 70s, early 80s, but it was just like, sometimes these things just they don't get you, but they put you in the spot where something else could. And it's tragic no matter who it is or what's going on. All our best out to his family, his friends, and thank you so much for decades of entertainment that we will still continue to share and watch. And for me, for being the best Batman, appreciate it.
Go watch Batman Forever. Go watch Tombstone. Go watch Ghost in the Darkness, Real Genius, Top Gun Maverick. Go watch every Val Kilmer thing you can find. Go watch the Val documentary. I know what I'm doing tonight. Let us know down in the comments what you thought, what you loved about Val Kilmer. And we will see you guys again here next time on We Got the Batman.
Bye-bye.